till the time your peace is dependent on external circumstances or on other people actions, you are stuck at level 0.
But we all live in a society, Vedanta, and we all have these rules and certain expectations. So why is it wrong? Why is it wrong for me to have certain expectations that this is how I want to be treated by my spouse, this is how I want to be treated in the workplace? Why is it wrong for me to have those expectations?
Tell me, Preeti, why do we stay in a toxic relationship or in a toxic work environment? Namaste. My name is Bidhan. 2012 is when I chanced upon Upanishads, and it had a profound impact on my life. Since then, I have dreamt to bring the key aspects of Upanishads in a manner which is simple, relatable, and implementable in our daily lives. So here we are with a set of videos to make spirituality simple.
So, Vedanta, how spiritual are you?
What kind of question is that? I mean, someone has to certify me, hey, you have crossed level 6. Where are you coming from?
No, I mean, I just think that we are all spiritual to some extent. And I just feel like it would be nice if there's like a spectrum that I can just mark myself on a graph and saying I'm this spiritual.
Can you please honor me with some explanation, please?
Honor me. But let's say, okay, on one end of the spectrum would be like Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, right? And at the other end would be completely driven by my identity and my material possessions. So between this, where would you mark yourself?
Okay, so you are saying that there is a spectrum. Say, for example, I get a blood test done to see whether I'm a pre-diabetic, I'm a diabetic, or I'm healthy. So you have a measurement report card, right? To kind of help you understand where do you stack up if spirituality was a spectrum, isn't it? That's what you're trying to ask.
Exactly.
This is interesting. I'd like to sort of work and discuss on this further with you. But before we do that, we have to first define what spirituality is, isn't it? Because if you don't define that, then how do you even look at the parameters? So there has to be an agreement between you and me that what spirituality is. So what do you think spirituality is?
I mean, after all this time, I think I should be able to answer that.
Yes.
It is not about the rituals. It is more about understanding our essential nature.
Perfect. So if you look from our own ancient wisdom, the word used to denote spirituality is a new word, right? It was called Adhyatma.
Adhyatma. Okay.
Right? That's the word which has been used in our texts. And this, you can find the reference in Bhagavad Gita as well. When you break this word, Adhyatma, it is Adhyatman. What does Adhi mean? It means pertaining to. Right? And Atman is knowing about self. Atman. Right? So all that we do to help us know our true essential nature, the steps that we take to know going, which allows us to go within, that is called spirituality. So if we are okay with that definition, then we can probably look at the buffet that you're talking about. Where do I start in spirituality? Is that okay?
So you mean pertaining to knowing my inner self,
which is actually Atman. So in Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna says that our swabhava, essential nature, is Adhyatma.
Okay.
It basically means that at the very core, we are Atman. But that's, and all the steps that we take to realize this can be termed as spirituality. Now, if this definition of Adhyatma is fine with you, then we can start mapping our journey. Does it make sense?
It makes sense. I think completely. Like you first define the parameters. So you define what it means, what spirituality means.
Right.
And here we've defined it as knowing my inner self or my essential true nature.
Yes.
Right? And then we can start, measuring.
Measuring. Okay. Now let's try and measure. But also I have to give you this disclaimer in the beginning that none of the spiritual texts will give you that these are the stages that you have to pass through. They will give you a broad guidelines. So, for example, if you refer to Patanjali Sutras, they talk about yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dhyana, dharana, samadhi. So they have kind of given us some bit of an idea here. But since we are here to make spirituality simple, we will look in our day to day lives. How can we mark the areas where we can say, hey, we are going closer to our own essential nature?
Yeah.
And this I will be calling out basis my own experiences that I have seen many people going through this journey because we do a lot of sessions, and I personally gone through multiple stages myself. So that will be the context from where we will be coming. Just try to see in our day to day life how we behave, how we look at circumstances, and does that attitude refer to as spirituality?
And that's what we want, like something very practical.
Yes, something very, very practical.
All right.
So now let's start that. Fine. So first of all, let's start at level 0. Right? Tell me, when a child is born, or a youngster, or when you grow up, do you straight away go and say that, hey, I am all pervading consciousness? Is that what we say about ourselves, or what do we say about ourselves?
No, I don't think so. I think if you ask even a child, or forget children, I think if you ask most adults, we would say that, like, I am this body and I am the thoughts that I'm having. So I think that's me.
So I am my personality.
Yeah, and my body. That's
Right?
me.
That's me, right? So that is level 0, right? Where we are fully identified with this as my thoughts, as my body, as me. Right?
All right.
So we feel this is me. Now, let us go a little further from here. What is the basic instinct of a body or of the personality, so to say?
I think I would say to survive and to sort of fend for myself. I think that would be a basic thing.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So when a child is born, it knows that he or she has to cry to get the milk.
Yeah.
It's coded, right, in them.
natural.
So similarly, a bird knows how to fly. It's coded inside them. So it's coded inside us to survive. And when we're talking about survival, survival has 3 layers.
All right.
And we are going to talk a little bit about evolutionary biology here. Why? Because we need to first understand the construct of the body, right? Before we try and see body, how the functionality of the body happens. See, it's just like this, Preeti, that if you have to solve a problem, you need to at least understand the contours of the problem, right? So, and once you really see how the biology of the body functions, you will be able to see very clearly what's happening there, right? And that's where I'm coming from. So, okay, now when you're saying our primary instinct is to survive, there are 3 layers of survival. 1, we want to keep ourselves safe.
Okay.
2, we want to be a part of a larger community. We want to be accepted in a larger community. And 3, we want to have children and make sure that they pass on their genes. So these are the 3 levels at which we try and create survival for ourselves.
I understand the 2 you said, right? Like you spoke about being safe. So safety, that ensures my survival. And also the need to be a part of a bigger group, a part of a community. Both these are crucial to my survival. But what about the third? Like, how does me having a child, how does that ensure my survival?
Interesting. Okay. Tell me one thing. Tell me a part of your body which can potentially survive even after the body collapses.
I don't know. I want to say Atman.
No. Let's not confuse these two things. We are talking about biology right now.
Okay.
What is it in you that can survive after you? Your genes,
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. My genes.
right?
Yeah.
So when you pass on your genes, you're technically surviving even after the body has collapsed. Think about it. And that is where, you genuinely are in love with your children. You want to take care of your children
More than other children.
more than any other
Yeah.
children, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you have a natural inclination and feeling and affection towards your own children.
Right.
You want to do everything for your child. You want to help your child to grow, become resourceful, because it is an extension of you. And whether we may not think it consciously, but at a very subconscious level, we are all programmed to feel good about our own children. Biologically, they'll say about our own offsprings. And this is not only in humans, you can see it in several other species as well. And that is what I was trying to tell you, that there are three levels. One is survival, another one is, sorry, the survival is at three levels. Safety, you do a lot of things to keep yourself safe. You work, you have a roof on your head,
Right.
you have money in your,
To survive.
right? Second is basically you want to feel accepted in a larger set of group because it makes you feel safe to be a part of a family, to be part of a friend circle. And third is that you want to have your own offsprings
Okay.
and you want to take care of them.
I get that. So that is my survival instinct.
Right.
I even understand the evolutionary biology part of it. But what does this have to do with spirituality?
What has to do with spirituality? Okay. One is intellectually understanding this, but second is to understand it in my day-to-day life, right? And let's look at this. Tell me, what do you do throughout the day? Throughout the day, just give me some activities that you do.
Like my regular day.
Right.
I wake up, I cook food, ensure that my son gets ready for school, drive to school, I go to work. Then when I get back home, again, we work together. Then I run a small support group for other moms and sit with my son for homework. And my this is my typical day.
Right. And you do speaking to some of your friends and colleagues.
Yeah, I speak to my mom quite regularly, and my friends I keep in touch very often. Yeah.
Right. So now, if I were to just break your daily routine, you will see that everything that you have done is only for survival. You work to make money, safety.
Okay.
You speak to your mom and your friends, acceptance,
Group. Okay.
group. You take your son to the school, love him, teach him, play with him. You feel good being around with him, is basically taking care of your offsprings. Right? Tell me, and if you really think hard, you'll see that 99% of your day basically can be easily clubbed into these three things.
Survival.
It's basically for survival. Are you seeing this? That everything that you're doing for the survival of yourself.
Got it. Okay.
Do you see this?
So most of my day, if I categorize it, yes, I do see it. Like everything, right from cooking to everything is for my own survival. Got it. Okay. I don't think I've ever broken it down like that. And
No, that's the reason I wanted you to look into this.
right.
Anything else you think you're doing beyond survival?
I don't know. I think I mentioned the support group. So then that has nothing to do with my survival.
What do you do in support group?
I just, we have a group where we discuss problems that we may be having with our lives, just talking about our own mental health and ensuring that, I help them in some way to understand that they're not doing this alone. Everybody goes through these different things.
So you're saying that when you're helping few people or few other moms in the same journey, it has nothing to do with your safety.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with my survival.
It's nothing to do with your children. It has nothing to do with they are neither your friends or family members.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay. What if I tell you that any kind of a help that you are giving, unconsciously you're doing so because you want to paint a good picture of yourself. And that makes you feel good. Unconsciously.
You're saying that we do good only because it makes us feel good? I mean, Yes, it makes us feel good, but we want to help the other person, right?
Okay, I'm going to break this further. And this is very, very crucial in our discussion because this will help us see how our mind operates. Because if we are not able to see it well, we get identified with this idea very quickly. Okay, now tell me that if you help someone and that person doesn't even look back at you and say a thank you, or basically gives the credit to someone else, how do you feel?
Not good.
Why is that?
Because I'm the one who has helped, right? Like,
You're seeing this. So, somewhere there was an expectation that your image should be better off. It's again a part of a social acceptance. When you're helping someone, somewhere you expect that there has to be certain reciprocation, at least in form of an acknowledgement. And even if that acknowledgement is not there, you really feel bad. Why? Because the need to be projected as someone who is good does not get fulfilled. Do you see where I'm coming from?
that need to be projected as good, you're saying.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you another question right now. Would you ever help anyone who has harmed you or whom you don't like?
Something to think about, but
It's difficult.
no, in all honesty, I don't think so. No.
Why? If you have to help, why aren't you helping people whom you don't like? It clearly goes to say, right, that you will be selective about people whom you help. And at the same time, there is a certain amount of inherent expectation, and that is how we are all programmed. There is nothing right and wrong about it. What I'm just trying to bring to your notice is that all actions that we are doing throughout the day, we are doing it only for our own self, right? Tomorrow, if you are in a position to help someone and don't even expect anything in return, don't even look back, don't expect any acknowledgement, you have gone beyond your programming. When you are in that position, you have gone beyond your programming. But otherwise, most of us, even a beautiful act of helping someone is also coming from a space that I can help someone. It enhances our ego. There is a need, there is an expectation of acknowledgement. So that's the reason I took your daily life example, that on a daily basis, all that we are doing is to survive. And why? Because our identity is attached to this
Body.
And what is the core fundamental instinct of the body?
To survive.
To survive.
Right.
Right? And therefore, survival becomes our primary. And then we're smart beings, right? We can always package this as the way we want.
We put stories into
Stories in. But the fact is, we are all
driven by that need to survive. Okay, so you had mentioned that this is level 0, where we are still very much in survival mode. That is, our actions are driven by that need to survive.
Right.
Right? Then where does level 1 come?
And before I get into level 1, I will give you a very practical nuance to it. That till the time your peace is dependent on external circumstances or on other people actions, you are stuck at level 0.
I mean, so you're so let's think about it in practically, okay? If my spouse misbehaves and he's not taking responsibility, and if my in-laws are not treating me well, or forget even personal life, if it's work, if my boss is not behaving well, or treating me unfairly in the workplace, are you trying to say that my journey has not started yet? Because I feel all these things.
Because you feel that they are responsible for your misery, right? What if I tell you that they are the triggers to your misery, not someone who is responsible to it?
How can you say that they are just the triggers? Because if they are the cause, right? They are the cause of me feeling this way. So they're not just the trigger.
Okay. So why don't you just give me some example and then we'll go through it? Take one particular example and then we'll go through it and we'll try and see if they are really the cause or they're the triggers.
Let's say the same thing that I just mentioned, right? Let's say the spouse is not taking responsibility for something that he has caused. Or if my boss is giving unfair advantage to somebody else and he's not treating me with the same level, right? All of this, and even a simple thing like my child not listening to me. Why is it wrong for me to say that they are the cause of my problems?
And you're saying that why I'm saying that just the trigger,
Yeah,
they're not the
they're the
cause.
cause, right?
Can I tell you something? That when you're experiencing these circumstances and when you think that they are the cause, it has less to do what is happening to you and it is more to do how you are interpreting what is happening to you.
What do you mean by that? Like, how is both? I don't see the difference between both.
All right. I will just take a little bit of detour and I'm going to come back exactly to what the problems that you spoke about, a spouse, a child, a boss, right? I'll just take a little bit of detour and we'll come back there. Suppose one is driving a car in the traffic, another person comes and cuts your car. It can happen to 10 different people. And 10 different people will react to this in 10 different ways. One will stop the car and start shouting. Other may feel extremely angry. Some will say chalta hai. Another will whistle and continue. Right? So 10 different people will respond to the same situations in 10 different way when you are there in a specific situation. Right? Then it has less to do in terms of what is happening to you and more to do in terms of how you are interpreting what is happening to you.
It depends on that person's state of mind, I think. Right?
You called it out.
Yeah.
So ultimately, it's not about what you are doing or what's happening to you. Your pain and your suffering is dependent upon your state of mind.
Okay.
And I'm going to come to the practice. I'm not evading that question, but I'm just trying to put a context here before I go deeper in this.
Saying that the same trigger is happening to multiple people and everybody is choosing to react in a different way.
Everybody will not be reacting like you or me or anybody else. Everybody chooses to react in a different way. Why? Because the state of mind is very, very different for every individual.
Right?
So, therefore, I was trying to say, are they the cause or are they the trigger? Do you see from where I'm coming from?
But we all live in a society, Vedanta, and we all have these rules and certain expectations. So why is it wrong? Why is it wrong for me to have certain expectations that this is how I want to be treated by my spouse, this is how I want to be treated in the workplace? Why is it wrong for me to have those expectations?
Wonderful point. And this is the crux, and I'm coming to this. Is your expectation coming from a place that I need to be treated well, I need to be accepted, or is it coming from a space of entitlement that this is how others should treat me? This is very important, Preeti, for you to tell me. Okay, let me bring it out again. You remember that we just spoke just few minutes ago that all our actions are driven by our own need,
Right.
our need for safety,
Survival.
our need for acceptance, our need for growth.
Right.
So ultimately, if I want a spouse to behave a certain way with me, or if I want my boss to be fair to me, the question I'm asking you is that your need or is that your entitlement?
Okay.
You have to clearly differentiate that first before I let you know what next. How do you feel about it?
Something to think about, right? Like, you're trying to say me having a certain expectation, I need to be able to differentiate whether it is coming from my own need to feel respected or to feel safe, or if it's coming from a space of entitlement where I feel like if you're a spouse, you should behave this way.
Yes.
If you're a boss, you should behave
Yes.
this way. Okay, I get that. I see the difference. But then I'm also wondering, I mean, what's the point? How does it even matter? Why?
Yes. Why does it matter why, right? Because if you believe that it is your entitlement, that this is how your in-laws should behave, your spouse should behave, your boss should behave, it is, if that is your entitlement, then you will blame them for not doing their job well.
Right.
But if you see that this is my need to be respected, it is my need to be treated fairly, then you will focus on what is it that you can do to get what you need, rather than blaming someone else that they are like this, they are like that, they ought to do this for me. You see from where I am coming? Because if you really feel that way, it is my need to be respected, you will negotiate, you will talk, you will escalate.
Right.
And if things are not happening, you will walk out.
Exactly.
Rather than spending your time in trying to say what you should be doing, how you should be behaving, or you are wrong. Because when you see that it is my need, then you start taking responsibility. But when you see this is my entitlement, then you start blaming others that they are not doing their job well.
So, if it is out of entitlement, I would try and change the other person.
Exactly.
Whereas if I identify that it is for my own need, then I have the choice on whether I want to escalate, whether I want to push back, whether I want to stand up for myself, or whether I want to just leave the job, or, that's what you mean, right?
Exactly. Your energy will be not on how other person should have behaved. Your energy is what you should be doing about it.
Right.
Do you see where I'm coming from again?
Got it.
Right? And that is a big shift, because once you are ready to take responsibility of your need, that process becomes very spiritual.
What does this have to do with spirituality?
So, what did I say initially? What is the level 0?
Where you are trying to survive.
Your survival.
Very much identified with your body and mind, and
Yes.
you're trying to make the body survive.
Body survive. Now, at level 1, you are able to now see that it is my need for safety, for acceptance, and maybe for expansion. Since this is my need, therefore I take the responsibility rather than blaming someone else. And therefore now you are able to see your system as separate from you. You are able to see the system has a need, the body has a need, the mind has a need, the personality has a need. And it is striving to get that.
So you mean when I'm able to identify the pattern,
Yes.
that is level 1.
That means you are becoming separate from your pattern,
Right.
isn't it?
Yeah.
You are able to see, hey, this is the pattern of the body, this is the pattern of the mind.
Right.
This is the desire of the body, this is the desire of the mind. As soon as you're able to see it, not getting identified, because as soon as you get identified, you become your body, you become your mind, and
Correct.
then the sense of entitlement comes in.
Correct.
But once you sort of separate yourself from the body and mind, start seeing the patterns, then you are able to say, hey, this is the need of this personality, this body, this mind. The need for safety, need for acceptance, need for expansion, need for being heard, need for the belonging. Then in that case, your attitude moves from what others should do
to the what you can do.
what you can do.
Right. Okay, so when we talk about the same example of spouse or your in-laws or your boss, if they're misbehaving, you have a choice. If you identify that it is my own need, if I can identify that, then I have a choice to push back. I have a choice to stand up for myself, or I have a choice to walk out. But if I'm thinking about it as an entitlement, like they are supposed to behave this way, then I try to change them. That's what you're trying to say, right?
True.
Okay.
So you conceptually got it right.
Okay.
But what do we still secretly hope?
The hope is always that they change, that the other person changes. Or I think somewhere that we have the choice to walk out.
Yeah, but the hope is already that.
You want them to change.
Want them to change.
Yeah.
Right? So tell me, Preeti, why do we stay in a toxic relationship or in a toxic work environment?
I feel we feel that we don't have a choice.
Basically, there is no other option.
Yeah.
That's the reason we stay there.
Yeah.
And therefore, it is very important for us to see through it very clearly that it is my need for safety is far more than the need for respect. And that's why you stay there.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong in it. It's okay. It's okay. I don't know what is to be done, so I'm there. But acknowledge that to yourself. Be honest. Right? Because once you acknowledge it, that my need for safety is far more, then what I will do is start working for keep making myself safe more and more so that I can walk out of it. Because otherwise, the whole lifetime, I'll just hope that my boss or my spouse changes, which will not happen. People don't change when you want them to. They change when they feel the need to.
Right. So you can't actually change another person. You can only, you are responsible only for your own actions and your.
You can't change anyone.
Right.
You find it so difficult to change your own self, isn't it?
Exactly.
How can you expect someone else to change? And provided they're not even motivated to change.
Right.
You see where I'm coming from? It may not be their need to change. Since it is your need, you need to know what is my need. If it's not getting fulfilled,
Do something.
do something about it. Rather than waiting for others to change and life situations to change, it doesn't work.
And I'm so happy to hear you say that, like you're not saying just because you identify it as your own need, do nothing about it.
Never.
You're saying identify, accept that it is your own need, and then take action.
Take responsibility.
I like that.
Take responsibility of your own need.
Right.
But it is very difficult. I'm telling you, it's honestly very, very difficult to do that.
I know it's difficult for me, but why are you saying it's difficult?
I'm just saying difficult because, first of all, we are all wired to believe that we are all right. That's how our wiring is. Everybody feels that their point of view is right.
The right one.
And that makes us feel very entitled in life. That this is what others should do. That's the first reason. And the second reason is to take an action requires a lot of courage, right? And sometimes it's very difficult to take actions in life. So sometimes it is very difficult to take responsibility in life because it requires a lot of courage.
Right.
And therefore the mind is smart enough to kind of rewrite the entire story that, hey, they are wrong, they have to change.
Right.
And that's exactly happens with a lot of us, and we can remain stuck where we are stuck.
And the brain doesn't like change, I think.
Nobody likes changes.
Yeah.
Right? And we hope things change. And that's why I'm saying it's very difficult. And that's why who said spirituality is easy? Spirituality, again, I'm saying Adhyatma. What is Adhyatma? Coming closer to your real self. And by seeing your own mental programs, that how everything that we do is basis our own needs, basis our own desires. And since it is my own need, my own desires to be respected, to be treated well, therefore it is my responsibility.
Yeah.
And that's why I say this is a very spiritual process. It may have nothing to do with religion, it may have nothing to do with rituals, but it has a lot to do with
Coming closer to your true nature.
your nature. You're seeing things as it is.
Right.
You're calling a spade here.
But when I think more about it, I think it's a little scary to think about this, Vedanta.
Why scary?
Because now that I'm sitting and identifying, okay, it's my own need and I'm taking responsibility, then for me personally, right, like I feel better and I feel good when I can sit and vent it out and crib to somebody about this is happening, they did this, they did that. So when I'm hearing this, it feels like I can't do that anymore.
Please go ahead and do it. Do it as an entertainment. But somewhere deep inside, remember that you have to take responsibility. Who is asking you not to crib? Go ahead and crib. Because if venting out helps, do it. But just remember, ultimately, you have to take responsibility. That's all what I'm trying to say. All right, but then now tell me, what's the difference between level 0 and level 1 now?
Now from today's conversation, little bit I can tell you. Level 0 you had mentioned was when the body is acting only, to survive. When we are doing things for our safety, to be a part of a community and to for growth, right?
All our actions are
Only for survival. Level 1, if I'm right, is when I can see.
Yes.
Level 0 is unconsciously it's all happening.
Yes.
Level 1 is when I can see that I'm doing certain things only for my survival.
Perfect. Are you able to see it?
Right.
I'm not even saying do something about it right now.
Yeah. Okay.
you're able to
I'm able to see that it is because of uh, my need for survival.
exactly.
Okay.
And once you see it, then responsibility comes on
Me.
me. That is important, right? So that is level 1. Level 0, as you beautifully said, that this is what it is. Whole day and night, I am just doing things for my survival requirement and holding others responsible if things are going wrong. Level 1 is we are able to see that, okay, this is my need, and therefore I need to take responsibility.
Acknowledge it.
Acknowledge it.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong to have a need. Everybody has it. We are all have our own desires. It's okay. Right?
When I thought you were going to say level 1 is where you have no desires at all. But it's nice that you didn't say that and you're like, okay, have your desires, but take responsibility for it.
Anybody who gives you an advice that have no desires or let go of your desires, that's the worst advice anybody can give. And I call that as a shortcut to spirituality.
What? What is that now?
Okay, I'll come to that later. But there's something very important I want to tell you right now. That from level 1 to when we go to level 2, that is really tough. I'm saying tough not because it's tough, but that's where the lot of things happen. Because when you go to level 2 and you say, okay, I have to take a responsibility for my own need and I cannot necessarily blame anybody else, how do I function? For some of us, we have always hoped that the help comes or someone changes, but now you're saying that I am going to assume that nobody is going to change. The situation is not going to change. I'm going to take responsibility. Sometimes we just get stuck there that what next shall I do? And that is where the level 2 comes into picture.
So let's get into that then.
Not now. This, we are going to do it in the next episode. I'm sure we have spent a lot of time today, right? It is enough for us to sort of absorb this itself. And if I speak to each one of you who are listening to us, I want you to just reflect and let us know that does it make sense? Does it make sense to plot your own spiritual path? So what I'm saying is my own understanding is basically we do run a lot of sessions, we do a lot of courses where we take live practical examples and see how we can use the ancient wisdom to our own benefit. And yes, if you are interested, you can please go and sign up for it. The link is there in the description below. But more importantly, the reason what we are trying to do right now is to map our journey is just to see that where we stand. Are we still fully dependent on the external situations and people to keep us happy or for our mental peace? If that is the case, what is it that you all have done to come out of it without trying to suppress, without trying to say that this is not for me? I would like to listen to your opinions, your views, and feel free to write it in your comments. And another point I just wanted to mention to each one of you, since you have stayed so long to listen to this, that we are holding 2 simultaneous episodes, one with Preeti, another with Ullas. With Ullas, we are going in depth with Tattva Bodh shlokas. There, the idea is to take up references and understand them in deep. With Preeti, what we are doing is we are taking the day-to-day life challenges and breaking it down and trying to see how we can use the wisdom of Upanishads to solve our day-to-day challenges and to rise above what we call is samsara. So if you like this initiative, please think about subscribing to us, sharing our videos, putting down your comments, and keep in touch, keep sharing, and let there be grace in our learning. Till we meet next, namaste to each one of you.